Welcome back. In the previous session, we have discussed the baseband communication model. In which we are having a transmitter filter whose impulse response ht of t at the input for transmitting the symbol x of n, and then we will have a channel, band limited channel, which is limited to wh and whose impulse response is h of t, and an additive white Gaussian noise n of t. Then at the receiver side, we are having four filters, two filters, receive filter, then equalizer filter, then a sampler, then a decision device. And the transmitted symbol is estimated. Due to the transmission of the symbol in a band limiter channel, it is getting dispersed in time, which causes intersymbol interference. And we have discussed the condition for ISI free channel. For that, we need h of nts should be equal to del of n. That means it should be 1 for n is equal to 0 and 0 for n not equal to 0, where h of t is nothing but the convolution of ht of t, hc of t, hr of t, and he of t. Where ht of t is the impulse response of the transmit filter, hc of t is the impulse response of the channel, hr of t is the impulse response of the receive filter, and he of t is the impulse response of the equalizer. Now, what we are going to discuss in this lecture is the contribution of the transmit filter in eliminating the intersymbol interference. We are going to use this transmit filter to shape the pulse, which is used for transmitting the information. The transmission filter is otherwise called as pulse shaping filter. Under this session, we are going to discuss the need for pulse shaping and the different types of pulse shaping filter. There are four different types of pulse shaping filter: Nyquist filter, raised cosine filter, square root raised cosine filter, as well as Gaussian filter is also available, and many more are available. But for simplicity, we are going to discuss only three different types of pulse shaping filter and their effects. And here we are going to discuss it under two categories. One is ideal category called as Nyquist filter, and other two are practical filter category. These are all the things we are going to discuss under this session. Let us discuss the necessity for pulse shaping, in which the communication system always depends on two important requirements. One is we have to transmit the information through a band limited channel, and the another one important thing is The intersymbol interference occurring in the presence of multi-fading channel environment has to be reduced. These are all the two very primary important things. While designing a communication system, we have to give very high priority to these two phenomena. Because generating informations, high data rate informations which can be passed through a band limiter channel will cause a very spurious effect called as intersymbol interference. On the other hand, multipath propagation wireless environment is another important challenge while designing a good communication system. So, in order to accomplish an effective design in front of these two impacts is done with the help or at the transmitter side with the help of pulse shaping filter. Pulse shaping is nothing but a process of changing the waveform of transmitted pulses. As we have earlier discussed in the last session, a pulse signal whose duration is Ts in time domain is represented in frequency domain by a sinc function. We know that sinc function is infinite in extent. And 1 by Ts is nothing but the data rate of the system. 1 by Ts is nothing but the data rate of the system. If you allow this signal through a band limited channel, having a bandwidth is equal to R. Here we can say that the bandwidth, this is R minus R. So the bandwidth requirement will be this is the bandwidth requirement, and the received signal is represented by the main lobe of the sinc function. It is let me assuming an ideal band limited channel. So at the time domain, if you take inverse Fourier transform, it will dispersed in time, which is interfering into the portion of the another symbol. So this effect is called as intersymbol interference. So if you want to avoid this, if you replace this with a sinc function, if xn of t is considered to be a sinc function, then xn of f will be f square. So then the received signal will also have a similar square shape, and here we can exactly recover the sinc function. But generating a sinc function is not at all possible. So we can shape the pulse at the time domain, which is nearly equal to a sinc function. So we can shape the pulse, the function, which will maximally occupy the band and having a very less side bands, so that we can approximately cover the maximum area where the side lobes can be neglected, so that we can approximately, not exact signal, but we can approximately receive, and we can reduce the maximum time dispersion into a very minimal time dispersion, which can be rectified by the further process such as in equalization and other processes itself. So this kind of process is called as pulse shaping. That means a rectangular pulse which is represented between minus Ts by 2 to Ts by 2, whose duration is Ts, if you do pulse shaping, or if you allow through Ht of t, you will get this kind of shape. This is the output pulse shaping filter. Let it be xn of t. This is what we are going to do, that is shaping the pulse, changing the waveform of the transmitting pulse, which is suitable for a band limited channel. So the first we are going to discuss about the ideal case, which is called as the Nyquist filter, in which we are having a rectangular frequency response of the filter, which will create a sinc function at the time domain, which is not at all possible in practical case, because the impulse response of this Nyquist filter should be a sinc function. Hi of t should be a sinc function. So which is not at all possible, because this filter is not physically realizable, but the bandwidth of the filter is R by 2. We know that the Nyquist bandwidth is R by 2, so we can write it as 1 divided by 2 Ts, because R is equal to 1 by Ts. We can write W is equal to 1 divided by 2 Ts. Then is the raised cosine filter, in which we are going to use a coefficient called as rolling factor R, which reduces the sharpening edge into a smooth edge, in which the frequency response of the filter, the raised cosine filter, is represented as Ts, that is the symbol duration, for 1 minus between the frequency range of 1 minus R by 2 Ts, and it is represented by Ts by 2 multiplied by 1 plus cos pi Ts by R into F minus 1 minus R by 2 Ts between 1 minus r by 2ts to 1 plus r by 2ts, and 0 for greater than 1 plus r by 2ts, which is represented like this. This is the frequency response of the filter. Here we can represent 1 by 2ts as W, that is the Nyquist bandwidth. By this we can replace Ts by 1 divided by 2W, so that this Ts is replaced by 1 divided by 2W, and here 1 by 2 Ts will be replaced by W, so we can write like this. And now this W into 1 by R, 1 minus R, is represented as the cutoff frequency F1. We can simply replace this with F1. We can write the expressions as below for simplicity representation. So F1 is nothing but W into 1 minus R. Here R is the roll-off factor. From this we can write F1 by W is equal to 1 minus R, and R is equal to 1 minus F1 by W. So the impulse response of the raised cosine filter is a sinc function between Ts by minus Ts by 2R to Ts by 2R, and the sinc function is multiplied by a cosine function other than that particular region. So the roll-off factor is bounded between 0 to 1 for the entire bandwidth. So raised cosine frequency response occupies a frequency range which is wider than the Nyquist bandwidth, and the actual bandwidth of this filter is determined by the choosing a proper value of roll-off factor R. If the roll-off factor R is equal to 0, then it simply resembles the Nyquist filter, because if you put R equal to 0 here, you will get Ts, this will become Ts for 1 by 2 Ts, so that this will become nullified. The entire term will become 2. So Ts 2 will get cancelled if you put R is equal to 0, so that it will be representing the Nyquist filter. If R is equal to 1, the raised cosine filter occupies twice the bandwidth of the Nyquist filter. Here the frequency response and the impulse response is plotted. This is the impulse response H RC of T, and this is the frequency response H RC of F. And the dotted line represents, I will represent it in different colors. The red color is determining for the roll-off factor is equal to 0, which is represented the Nyquist filter. And the blue color line determines the roll-off factor of 0.5, and the green color represents the roll-off factor of 1, which requires 2W, that is exactly equal to R, the greater than the Nyquist rate, because the Nyquist rate what we need is R by 2, but here we will occupy 2W, that is R when roll-off factor is equal to 1. Generally, for optimum pulse shaping, the roll-off factor is chosen as 0.5 to conserve the bandwidth. The corresponding impulse responses are shown on the left side graph. Then a square root raised cosine filter. Here the frequency response is square root of the raised cosine filter. Here if it is Ts in the square root raised cosine filter, it is root Ts, and the second term is also square root. So now also we are applying the two conditions, W is equal to 1 divided by 2S and F1 is equal to W into 1 minus R. We can represent it like this. And here 1 divided by 4W can be represented as this 1 by 4W can be represented as 1 divided by 2 into square root of W, and this square root of 1 plus cos theta, we know that cos square theta is equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta divided by 2. So we can replace, here we are going to consider this as 1 plus cos 2 theta. So 2 theta is represented by pi divided by 2 W or F minus F1. So theta can be represented by pi divided by 4 W or F minus F1. So this entire square root can be replaced as square root of 2 into cos square pi by 4 W or into F minus F1. And this square root 2 is multiplied here, which makes this the denominator square root. So this will become 1 divided by square root of 2W, and the square root and square makes the term cos into pi divided by 4W or into F minus F1, whose impulse response will be represented by this expression, which is having a good smoothening when compared to the root raised cosine filter. Here, this crossing is achieved at 0.5, at the magnitude response of 0.5, smoothening. In this square root raised cosine, the smoothening occurs even greater than that, which is nearly equal to 0.75. And moreover, a sharp smoothening, a well smoothening is achieved for R is equal to 0.5, and very good smoothening is occurred at R is equal to 1. And the performance of the raised cosine filter, RC filter and SRRC filter is depending on the role of factors. The corresponding impulse response is SRRC filter is represented on the left side. If two identical SRRC filters are used at transmit and receive filters respectively, then the SRRC filter at the transmitter is doing the pulse shaping, and the SRRC filter used at the receiving end or used as a receiver filter will do the matched filtering purpose, and the combined frequency response satisfies the Nyquist criterion. In most cases, RC filters and SRRC filters are used in the practical scenarios. In the next session, we shall discuss about the contribution of the receive filter in eliminating the intersymbol interference.